The results of any investments made by a listener to this program.
The Word on Wealth with Gary Quackenbush is sponsored by the Word on Wealth Radio Network.
This is the Word on Wealth with Gary Quackenbush of GQLAW. Gary is a San Diego financial solutions attorney, protecting people like you. The Word on Wealth team of financial experts is here to answer your questions and help preserve your family's financial future. Now,
you're live. All right, 4, 3, 2, 1, on air. We are live and local here on the Word on Wealth. This is Gary Quackenbush and my good friend Anthony Wright. Thursdays, my favorite day of the week, because on Thursdays, I get to talk to and have as my partner, Anthony. Anthony Wright is the host of Faith-Based Investing. So if you guys have Sirius XM radio, which is like baked into every car they make now, it's on Sirius XM 131 satellite radio. Talks about faith-based investing. So that's a lot of fun. We're going to be talking about that. Also, if you want to get a hold of Anthony directly, just do what I do. Call 931-RETIRED, RETIRED, 931-RETIRED. Anthony, what's going on, man?
Hey, Gary, how are you, buddy? Good to be with you today, man. Always excited to be on here and be connected with you. And hope you're doing well. Hope your family's doing well.
They are doing excellent. Thank you. Yeah, everything's good. I have no reason to complain. And yeah, I just feel super blessed and super happy. How are things going with you out there in Tennessee at your pond?
Yeah. Same here, man. Just, super blessed and happy to be alive, and God's still on the throne. So there's still hope, right?
That's right. That's right. You got it. So speaking of thrones, the Fed chairman came out, yesterday, day before, came out and made his little hawkish announcements like, we're not going to raise rates right now, but I've been thinking we want to get inflation down to 2%. We're going to get it down, and we may raise the rates 2 or 3 times between now and the end of the day. But for now, that's okay. Everybody behave. How does that affect the market?
Yeah. Well, everybody knows when rates go up, market goes down, and he's trying to control inflation is what's happening.
Okay.
But when they're passing just crazy budget bills and just spending money like crazy, I mean, there's no way they're going to be able to slow down inflation until they cut some of that back. And now that they both have agreed, Congress and the Senate have agreed up on the budget and extend the spending limit, it's just going to continue to spiral out of control. So it's going to make the market go down, and a lot of people are unhappy right now, and rightfully so. But if you're with us and you're with our firm, then we're doing stop losses and we're doing a lot of different strategies, straddles and puts and calls. And there's a lot of things that we do as an active firm that a lot of people don't do and don't even know the terms or don't even know how to do it.
Oh, Anthony, those are the things you learn in my, basically when I got my degree in business finance. It was like, our investment class where it's stocks, bonds, strats, straddles, puts, calls. And I used to understand that stuff, but now it's like, no, I don't need to. I've got you.
That's right.
Because if you don't do it, like in my stuff that I do every day, if I don't do it every day, if I'm away from it for a month, I can't remember. It's bizarre. But there's just so much with the market, how it moves, like, because you live in it, this is just what you do. And it's kind of like second nature to you. So
that's right.
I don't know how anybody could try to manage their money on their own. I've had clients I had a client that was the other day, I was talking to him, and he says, I've managed my money on my own for the last 20 years. I said, wow, no advisor? Oh yeah. I went to one of those free seminars, and he laid out this great financial strategy, and I've just followed it ever since. I thought, well, you've done okay, but it's like, oh my gosh, that's just terrifying. But no kids, no grandkids, that you don't have to really, there's not a lot of risk. There's not a lot of risk of losing your shorts. So his risk tolerance was super high. And I thought that was so interesting. Anyway, I would love if you'd, I guess that, we always hear numbers like, the noon report every day on the news. It's like the S&P closed today 300 or 431 points higher. And it's like, should we even care? And I don't want to be flippant about it, but from from your position, us listeners as a consumer, should we really care what the S&P is doing? Should that be something where we go, oh no, the S&P's up. That's great. I can go to dinner tonight. And then the S&P's down and oh no, I should go and sell my clothing. Should we really be that worried about it? Is it something we should be watching, or how would we respond to that kind of thing?
No, you should never really be concerned about that. You should have a great investment advisor that's fiduciary and has put together a good, certified financial plan for you. And then you don't have to worry about it. That's their job. They're professionals. That's what we do. We work in it every day. We deal in it every day. And let those of us that are in the middle of that mix every day be concerned about that. And with a good plan and a good investment advisor that's fiduciary, that does what's in the best interest of the client, we plan for the ups and downs of the S&P market. And when someone is retired, Gary, they should just be concerned about where they're going to have lunch, and are they going to go play tennis or play cards
2 minutes
night, or go see the kids, right? And they just have a guaranteed income coming in, and they don't have to worry about it. No retired person should have to worry about the S&P 500, the Dow Jones, the Russell 2000, whatever index you want to put in there. They just really, that's not what retirement is all about. You're supposed to enjoy life, be stress-free, and let those of us that work in it every day, full-time, let us deal with that, and let us put that plan together for you, and just sit back and collect your checks every month.
And it's interesting. I appreciate you explaining it that way, because I know I talk to people who, one of their plans is, now that they've worked and they have their 401k and all these things, and they've been working for, 40 years or whatever, and now they're retiring, their big plan is, what are you going to do with yourself? Oh, I'm going to manage my money. I'm going to manage my investments. And I go, well, are you sure? That's, you have 40 years of experience doing engineering and doing this, but that's not what you do professionally. And you really haven't really been that focused on it because it's been into 401k and whatever. And they go, yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm going to learn how to, manage that. And I'm going to, and I don't know, I look at it like, that doesn't sound, it sounds fun to watch that. But to me, it's more, I always want coaching. I want a coach to help me with things. I want to hire an attorney to help me in my legal stuff. I'll watch what they do. I'll give suggestions. I'll learn from them. But I never, things like that where it really makes a difference on whether I make any money so I can live on it for the rest of my life. I can't imagine just trying to think, okay, well, I'll figure it out. Like, no, that's not the time to do it. So I agree with you. Call 931 retired. You're here with Anthony Wright and Gary Quackenbush on the Word on Wealth. Today, we talk about wealth with a dollar sign, a big one. When we come back, I'm going to ask Anthony to give us just a brief market update, but I also want to start out with the Anthony pep talk when we get back from this quick break.
You don't need to know everything. You just need to know where to find answers you can trust when you need them. Welcome to the Word on Wealth with Gary Quackenbush. We're here to help you build, protect, and transfer everything you've worked hard for with expert estate planning, trust administration, inheritance, and probate. Call Gary and the team at GQLAW.com, 855-500-TRUST.
You're saving and investing for the future, and that's good. Have you ever stopped to think, where does my money actually go? This is Faith-Based Investing with Anthony Wright.
Most Christians just don't understand that the money they save for retirement usually helps fund the abortion industry and other liberal anti-family causes. But did you know that with just a few minutes of your time, we can screen and clean your investments at no cost to you? It's absolutely complimentary. Just go to the website right now, download a free copy of my book, Faith-Based Investing. It's free as well. You deserve to know the truth as the investor. Then the choice is yours. You can keep doing what you're doing, or you can line up your investments and life savings with your beliefs. We are fiduciary investment advisors. You can feel good about investing with confidence. So learn more now. Go to BibleSafeInvesting.com or call me at 931-RETIRED. Your free book is waiting for you. Go to BibleSafeInvesting.com and be sure that you listen to Faith-Based Investing this weekend right here on Family Talk.
So Gary, we've talked a long time about estate administration. So what is that and why is it important?
Estate administration is the distribution part of estate planning. So when someone passes away and they leave money to beneficiaries, the property has to be administered. So it's like taking it from the decedent to the survivor. That's called the estate administration process. So usually you're going to have a successor trustee that's named in the trust. They'll have no idea what they're doing because they've never done it before. So then they call on GQLAW and we walk them step by step on how to be a successful and good successor trustee. We also do the required notifications. We notify the Department of Health Services and all the legal requirements so that they can have the estate administration done properly. We help successor trustees be successful.
Call or click to request your free consultation. GQLaw.com, 855-500-TRUST, GQLaw.com.
Who will you trust with the biggest financial decision of your lifetime? If you're planning to buy or sell a home in San Diego County, do what I do and work with the true San Diego real estate experts. Ken Pecos and the Pecos Group helped me and my family. They can help you. This is Gary Quackenbush of The Word on Wealth. You hear Ken every week here on The Word on Wealth. He's our expert. He's got integrity, exceptional service, deep knowledge of the San Diego, Coronado, and South Bay regions. These are just some of the reasons that Ken Pecos has completed hundreds of transactions. He manages a powerful team of professionals at the Pecos Group. From single-family attached homes to luxury high-value waterfront properties to apartment buildings, Ken Pecos is ready to help you avoid problems and costly mistakes. Learn more online at kenpecos.com. That's Ken Pecos, Pecus.com, or call 619-977-8419.
DRE number 010566969, brokered by eXp Realty.
This is
Broadcast outreach, The Word on Wealth with Gary Quackenbush of GQLAW. Call or click to request your free initial consultation or to talk with a member of the team. Call Gary at 855-500-TRUST, GQLaw.com.
You're live. All right. Hey, welcome to Word on Wealth. This is Gary Quackenbush of GQLAW, and we have Anthony Wright, BibleSafeInvesting.com. One thing that Anthony does that I think is great is he offers a free book. It's called Bible Safe Investing, and you can find it on his website for free. That's BibleSafeInvesting.com. So, Anthony, are you still, like, through the month of June, going to keep that on your website for free?
It's still there. It's absolutely free. It's called faith-based investing. And the best way to get that is go to BibleSafeInvesting.com. Click on the little get started now. And once you enter your email, once you enter your phone, so we can get back in touch with you, you'll get an automated email and it'll give you the free version of the PDF of that book.
Okay. And it's just, I think that's great to have. So if you guys want that, it's an easy read. It helps you understand what the principles are behind faith-based investing, which is really making your money match your talk. So, Anthony, one of my favorite parts about the show is I always get you to kind of do the Anthony pep talk, because no matter what's happening with the market, up or down, the sky's falling or it's not. It's like I always love to hear the Anthony pep talk on
Anthony, bring on the cheeseburgers.
Anthony and his cheeseburgers pep talk. Not anymore, Anthony. It's what does he have? Fresh fish.
Yeah, fresh fish, and I eat the cheeseburgers protein style, thanks to Gary's wife.
So funny. It just cracks me up when she does that. It's like everywhere. Do you do protein style? And they go, yes. But I'll tell you though, sometimes she does that. We were at one restaurant and it wasn't just like Iceberg lettuce. They have that butter lettuce that's like really.
Oh, butter lettuce is amazing,
Oh,
Gary.
and they had, I think it was probably about 6 or 8 leaves on each side. So it literally looked like a green fluffy bun. And she's eating it going, oh my gosh, this is so good. It's not just like some restaurants give you lettuce to hold your hamburger with. It was really good. And she's going, oh my gosh, this place is amazing. It was funny. I was jealous. It's all good. Butter lettuce, butter lettuce bun burgers, I guess. All right, Anthony, pep talk, brother.
Yeah, man, pep talk. I've been studying this week, and the verse I really been focused on this week is out of Matthew chapter 11. And, basically it just says, all ye that are tired and heavy laden, come and let him give us rest, and that his burden is easy and his load is light. So I just encourage everybody, look, you'd have to be pretty much, I don't even know the right adjective to use here, but I mean, you'd have to pretty much be an ostrich with your head in the sand to not know that the world we're living in today, if you're not careful, it will cause you to get heavy. It will cause you to become burdened. It will cause you to become very tired. And you just get tired of this person saying this, that person saying that. Which investment advisor do I believe? This guy says that. This guy says this. Then CBS, NBC says this, and Squawk Talk says that. And I mean, it's just madness, right? I mean, I get asked that all the time, and I tell people the first thing when they come to us is take a deep breath, relax, rest. All right, we're going to operate on a plan. We're going to operate from a fiduciary perspective. Relax. It's going to be okay. We're going to get you through it, and take his yoke up on you, because his is easy and his burden is light. So if you're heavy, if you're anxious, if you're just beat up, tired, take a deep breath, relax. God is still on the throne. He is still in charge, and Jesus is the man, and he is the waymaker. So, we pray over all of our investment strategies, plus we use good, solid, sound investing strategies. We are an active firm. We do a lot of stop losses. We do straddles, puts, calls. We do all kinds of good things. So don't get caught up in the world. Don't become heavy. Don't become burdened. Take his yoke up on you. Let it become easy, and rest. Learn how to rest and take it easy. How's that for a pep talk?
I love it. That was fantastic.
And to finish that off, Anthony, it's always good to remember the Lord knows how it's all going to turn out. So
there you
being
go.
Obedient to him, we really do have no worries.
Amen. 100%. And when you throw a cheeseburger right at the end, it's perfect.
Oh, it's bliss.
That's right. With butter lettuce.
With buttered lettuce.
That's right. Got butter lettuce bun on the end. Yeah. No, that's great. No, I appreciate that. That's what we need. There's too much negativity in the news. There's too much negativity like all surrounding us. It's just so easy to go into that. It just makes for talking fodder. And I hate that. So I love the fact that we can talk positive about everything. What can we complain about? Man, we live in a great nation. We live in great places. We're living the choices that we've made. We've decided to and chosen to make certain sacrifices. And, my philosophy is, when you make a choice, be okay, be okay with the choices that you made, be okay with the work that you've decided to carry out, be okay with the sacrifices that you've chosen to make. And I think with everything that you do, if you have that, the kind of that whole thing in your mind that, the Lord loves effort. He loves it when you put effort and study and thought and prayer and you toil over things. He says, my yoke is easy, my burden is light. Part of the reason the yoke is easy is because he's next to you in the yoke. I mean, that's where the whole concept is. And that's why he's not taking it off of you. You notice he doesn't say, hey, let me have your yoke. I'll carry this thing the whole way. He says, no, I will yoke next to you. I'll be your partner in this, all things. And then that makes it so that the burden becomes light. And it's like the children of Israel, There's all these things that happen where people with God never removed their burdens. He just made them light, meaning that you get used to it and you learn to push through and you learn that you'll be okay. So he never took away people's burdens. He teaches you how to carry them. And, and I go backpacking. It's like, I don't throw my pack on the side of the trail. I chose to put it on my back. If I packed light or not, whatever, I've decided to carry it. And I think with our lives,
That's right.
some of the burdens that are upon us, we did not choose. We did choose to come here to this earth, but I think, ultimately, really it is our choice to accept and take on these burdens. But I love the attitude about it where, you make the best of your situation. You just do. From a mechanical standpoint, though, to really show that you guys, know what you're doing, you've got to get professionals. And I say this all the time, if you've got to have, if you've got money to manage, you need a professional, somebody that does that for a living. Learn the business, learn and understand it, and hire a professional that will be able to do, and exercise these concepts and do things with their, this vast experience. Like Anthony, it's easy. You call him 931 retired. You can talk to him and Aaron and the team. They do respond to you. I was talking to a friend of mine the other day who's one of your clients, and it was funny because it was like unsolicited. Oh, Anthony, I've got money with Anthony and with another firm. And he named the other firm and he said, Anthony's up 34%. The other one is not. The other one's up about 10. Awesome. And I went, that big of a difference? He says, yeah, it was dramatic. And he says, I think his quote was, I think it's because Anthony does what he says he's going to do. That's cool. Good.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, Gary, investing is not supposed to be stressful, right? And a lot of people seem to be amazed when I tell them that with a proper plan, you will make money when the market goes down. See, there's a myth, there's a misunderstanding, a misconception, if you would, that the market has to go up in order for you to make money. So that just really isn't true. And the reason that they believe that is because they think everything in forward motion. They think, well, if I put money in the CD and I get 5.85%, I'm making money. Well, that isn't true. They have to claim and pay tax on it, right? So now they're down to like 3%. Inflation's growing at 11. Now they're going backwards 8%, right? So you have to do a plan where people make money when the market goes down. And that's why you want an active investment manager like our firm. You don't want somebody that is passive. A passive investment advisor is just going to stick the money in the market and que sera, whatever will be, and you'll start at point A, and when you get to point Z, what you have is what you have, and it's usually negative.
Interesting. And I that is true. That's actually proven by facts, and it's reproducible. And I think that's why we're on the show. I mean, telling you people, don't do it yourself. You don't need to. You have an investment advisor. You can use Anthony. His firm is terrific. 931 retired. Their motivation is to make your money, get you retired and keep you through retirement. That's their goal. That's their business. That's what they do. Their reputation is based on the success that they have for their clients. And so it's not, they're not making their money on churning and every stock sale they get a penny or a dollar or whatever. It's not that. They are fee-based financial planners. They get paid for being successful. So you're successful, they're successful. Anthony's system is great. We don't hear complaints. We hear people raving about how great it is, and there's how they're happy that they called. His number 931 retired. If you want to learn more about the faith-based investing, you've got that free book, Faith-Based Investing. It tells about the concept, helps you understand it. So it's not a mystery. You go to BibleSafeInvesting.com and get your free book. Anthony, we got a couple minutes left, and I wanted you to address a little bit about like the risk versus reward analysis that we've talked about before, because we talk about risk tolerance, and if I'm 65 years old, I want to retire, I've got some money, and then my risk tolerance is lower. But risk versus reward is kind of the one thing I wanted you to just maybe you've got about a minute to help us understand the risk versus reward analysis.
Yeah, real simple, right? The more risk you take, the more reward you're gonna receive. So think of like a CD in the bank. Now, these certificates of disappointments, I mean certificates of deposits. So when somebody takes very little risk and they get 5.8%, and at the end of the year you have to claim that 5.8% as income, net 30% tax bracket, so you lose 30% of that, 20% of that, whatever it is, you're not getting income. Why? There's no risk. So therefore you're not getting a reward. You're only clearing about 3%, and inflation's growing at 11. So you're going backwards 8. Take some risk, get involved in the stock market, and you'll outpace that inflation. And hopefully, can never promise,
Right.
but hopefully we do better than 11%.
Yeah, and that's really the way to think about it. Risk versus reward. And we don't understand the tax consequences either. You can't believe everything you read. You got to get somebody that's a professional and expert. Check it out. 931 Retired, BibleSafeInvesting.com. Anthony, it's always a pleasure. The time flies by, but I really appreciate you spending your Thursdays with us here on the Word on Wealth. All right, Anthony, I will talk to you next week. Hope you have
Thanks,
a great
Gary.
rest of your
Thanks,
day.
Noah. See you guys.
Appreciate it, brother. All right. We'll be back on the Word on Wealth, a little bit more, a little bit of a synopsis wrap up with the Anthony Show, and we'll be back in a minute. Word on Wealth.
You've got questions. We've got answers. This is the Word on Wealth with Gary Quackenbush of GQLAW. Gary's here to give you peace of mind with expert estate planning, trust administration, inheritance, and probate. Call Gary to build, protect, and transfer your wealth. 855-500-TRUST. GQLAW.com. Ask for the legal help you need. Call Gary and the team at GQLAW 855-500-TRUST, or go online and download Gary's free ebooks and videos. Read Gary's blogs. Call or click to request your free consultation or to talk with a member of the GQ team. That's GQLAW.com. 855-500.
You're live.
Thanks for being part of the show today. Welcome to the Word on Wealth. This is attorney Gary Quackenbush, California attorney Gary Quackenbush. So yeah, if you're listening in other states, great. We are not giving any legal advice on the show. In fact, that's why we have a disclaimer before and after. We're not giving any legal advice. If you want some, make sure you get a competent attorney. If that's me and you're in California, that's awesome. 855-500-TRUST. I work with Anthony, with my clients very closely in making sure that investments are properly held and titled in the name of the trust. That's one thing I really like about Anthony's his understanding of estate planning is a great understanding. He understands how he's supposed to coordinate with me, the financial planning attorney, in making sure that retirement accounts and everything that needs to be worked through the trust or named in the trust, that it gets done the right way. I appreciate that about him. And want to go over just a couple of things that I think are really important. We talk about retirement accounts. Many financial advisors, well, let me do it as an example. Okay. I had a client ask me the other day, he said, Gary, you told me that I'm supposed to put my retirement account in my trust and my bank account in my trust and my investment account in my trust and my house in my trust. I said, yes. And he said, well, my financial advisor says you're wrong, that you can't put your IRA, I can't put my IRA in the trust. Well, he's right. You cannot put your IRA in the trust. You cannot put your 401k in the trust. When you have accounts like a 401k and an IRA, they're called tax advantaged accounts or qualified funds. Under the Internal Revenue Code, it defines what qualified funds are. Now, qualified funds are going to be money that is not yet taxed. It's sitting there waiting to be taxed. It qualifies for tax deferment. So as it's earning money, as it's growing, there's no tax on it yet. When you take it out, depending on the account, most traditional IRA and traditional 401k type trusts or type retirement accounts, they are going to be taxed as the money comes out. If it's a Roth IRA or a Roth 401k, it's different. It doesn't get taxed on its way out. So the IRA, traditional IRA and traditional 401k, those are going to get taxed when the money comes out, but not until then. And that makes a big difference. Okay. So that money is specifically controlled by a fiduciary, by a company, by the plan administrator, and they hold that money as an IRA. They have regular reporting requirements. They have to tell the IRS how much money is in there, or, they have to report if there's gain and how much the account is staying at and all that. Okay. So that money needs to be controlled by that plan administrator according to the Internal Revenue Code. If it were money that was just your brokerage account, not tax deferred, just a regular brokerage account, you can do whatever you want. You can take it all out and you're only going to be taxed on the gains. You could do whatever. It doesn't matter. It's not tax deferred. It's been taxed as it goes along. Okay. Makes sense. So their financial advisor, this person I'm talking to, is correct that you can't put it in the trust, but that was a misunderstanding. I didn't say put it in the trust. I said, I will set up your trust to be a retirement protection trust, which will allow your successor trustee to handle the IRA money for the beneficiaries. Explain. All right. Let's say, for example, you have children and they are 6, 8, 10. 6, 8, and 10. And you pass away. Okay. If you gave the money directly to them, if you said in the beneficiary designation, when I pass away, I want my children, my kid 1, kid 2, kid 3, they're going to be the beneficiaries of my IRA and my 401k. That makes sense because they're your kids. It makes no sense when the kids are 6, 8, and 10, because if you died and they're that young, they're going to have that money. Can they touch it? The answer is no. The fiduciary has to hold on to that money. The one that's got the IRA plan manager, right? That money's got to be held in a separate account for that particular beneficiary. In this case, it would be one, each of your kids have a separate account. And then when they are 18 years old, senior in high school, typically, they can go and collect their money. Now, I know a few 18-year-olds that are financially responsible. I don't really know any that would know the difference between qualified funds and how to spend them and how they're taxed and all that, and non-qualified funds. I really don't, because it's not a concept they're familiar with. They don't have retirement accounts when they're 18 years old. But now if they're going to inherit all this money, it's just tax, whatever. So I'm afraid that they will not be able to handle it financially. I'm convinced that 18-year-olds are not good with money. 25-year-olds are not necessarily good with money. So what I'm talking about when I say that IRA needs to be managed by, handled by, run through the trust. What I'm saying is that the beneficiary designation on that IRA first should say to your spouse, assuming you're married. So beneficiary, primary beneficiary is going to be, in my situation, my wife, right? So I die, it's her money. Then she has to figure out what to do with it. So it's to her, it's a spousal IRA. She's going to have to put it in her IRA that she already has. She's going to have to designate what happens now when she dies. Okay. If she is already dead and then I die, if I named my 4 kids as the contingent beneficiaries, they're each going to get 1/4. Now with my kids, that's okay. They're all married and they all have children. So they're financially responsible. If I were younger, my wife died and then I did, and it's now going to my kids that are teenagers or, early college age, and it's all my money going to the 4 of them, I think that's a bad idea. So what I recommend is, as the contingent beneficiary on your IRA, you would do as follows. First of all, you would set up a living trust that has a provision that allows that successor trustee of your living trust to handle your retirement monies. That's called a retirement protection trust or an IRA conduit trust. Okay. So you have this qualified retirement plan trust. All right. Then the beneficiary, the contingent beneficiary, it'll say, it'll say, John Brown, trustee of the Gary and Cheryl Quackenbush Family Trust, for the benefit of Brianne Christensen. Okay. 1/4. For the benefit of Ryan, 1/4. For the benefit, so it's going to name all my kids, but it's being paid to the trustee of the trust for the benefit of that child. The effect of that is the money stays in the retirement account. Because when you take it out, remember what I said, when you take it out, you get taxed. Okay, the retirement account is under new rules because under the Secure Act, that retirement account out of that IRA must be drawn out in full within 10 years of the date of death of the parent that you got it from, right? So you have to pull it out within 10 years. Do you have to pull out 1/10 per year? Not necessarily. You have to pull out some type of a required minimum distribution, depending on how old you are, depending on how old your parent was, depending on whether they were taking RMDs. So there's some tax complications, but the successor trustee is a financially mature individual that you have selected to manage your money for and behalf of your kids who are not financially mature yet. So the successor trustee, is the one that's going to figure out, by talking to the IRA or the 401k plan manager, how do we do this inherited IRA? And they're going to move the money where it needs to go. They're the ones that are financially mature. They're not financially interested, right? It's not their money. So they're just managing it as fiduciaries and doing the best they can. That's why I say, do a trust that qualifies as an IRA trust, a retirement protection trust, so that your IRA beneficiary designation can go through that trust and manage the money for the kids. Because if the kids are underage, they shouldn't be getting the IRA directly. Now, remember that successor trustee is going to have to figure out, in conjunction with the investment organization that's holding the IRA, how fast to take that money out based on income and expenses and all that, because that money's going to come out. And it comes out in behalf of the beneficiary. Okay. So 25% is going to come out in behalf of my son, Tyler. But because he doesn't qualify to receive the money under my trust until he's older, my trustee holds that money in the trust in an investment account until my kid ages to the certain age. Okay. Does that make sense? So that's the important part about handling the IRA money, is because the kids, they may not be financially mature enough to accept the responsibility, and they may not realize how much tax they're going to have to pay. So we don't want them to have to think about that. We want a professional that can handle it. So that's how the IRA beneficiary thing works. I know there's a lot of confusion on whether the IRA is owned by the trust or managed by the trust. So that's what I wanted to suggest, is that it is managed by the successor trustee, and that is handled by how the beneficiary designation in that IRA is established. Your financial advisor should be able to tell you exactly how to do it. When you set up a trust through my firm, 855-500 Trust, then we help you figure out how to do the beneficiary designation, and we will work in conjunction with your financial advisor to make sure that it gets done right. All right. The next thing I want to come up with is, what about beneficiary control? I want to talk about that a little bit because, there's beneficiary designation. There's different things that have to happen. What are some of the things we need to consider when we're designating beneficiaries of IRAs or non-IRA accounts? That we're going to talk about coming up next year on The Word on Wealth with Gary Quackenbush of GQLAW.
You don't need to know everything. You just need to know where to find answers you can trust when you need them. Welcome to the Word on Well with Gary Quackenbush. We are here to help you build, protect, and transfer everything you've worked hard for with expert estate planning, trust administration, inheritance, and probate. Call Gary and the team at GQLAW.com. 855-500-TRUST.
Gary, your team at GQ Law are experts at solving IRS and state tax problems. Talk about that.
When people have a tax problem, it tends to really stress them out. And one of the things we've been able to do is figure out how to resolve tax problems. One thing we might be doing is setting up a payment plan or getting a collection delay, maybe getting a determination that the person shouldn't have to pay the taxes at all. We do offers and compromise. We do audit reconsiderations. And one of the things that's a really powerful tool that some people don't recognize is sometimes bankruptcy can be used to actually eliminate taxes when there's certain conditions of the code that are met. So we can do all kinds of things. After we analyze your situation, we can figure out what's available, discuss your options, and figure out which ones to implement, what it's going to cost, how long it's going to take. And we can get people out from under all kinds of tax problems so they can sleep again. That's our goal.
Request your free initial consultation. GQLaw.com. 855-500-TRUST. GQLaw.com.
It's time for the Semper Solaris Savings Spectacular. Your electric bill goes up as much.
Tell a friend about this broadcast outreach, The Word on Well, with Gary Quackenbush of GQLAW. Call or click to request your free initial consultation or to talk with a member of the team. Call Gary at 855-500-TRUST. GQLAW.com.
You're live.
Welcome to The Word on Wealth. Happy Friday. I'm sorry. Happy Thursday. This is Gary. Now that Anthony's not on the show for the rest of the day, it's like, oh my goodness, I'm pretending it's Friday, but it is not Friday. It's Thursday. All right. We were talking about beneficiary designation, dealing with IRAs, having your trust be an IRA qualified trust or a retirement protection trust, a IRA conduit trust. Lots of things you can call it. There are lots of different ways you can do it. The idea is to have that conversation to figure out what to do with the money. Keeping in mind, the purpose of your trust is to be able to handle all of your money while you have capacity, while you could do it yourself, while you can manage it yourself, and in the event of you becoming incapacitated. What is the likelihood of you becoming incapacitated or incompetent? Well, unfortunately, for all of us, it is 70% of Americans become incapacitated for at least 90 days before they pass away. That may be right at the end on your way out. It may be in the middle sometime. It could be something that will last you years and years, or maybe something that's brief. I know with in my own family, with my mom, the situation was, it was not brief. Dementia is horrible. When you've been through it with a parent, you would understand. If you haven't, you wouldn't understand it. It's just it's incredible. It's unbelievable what happens. to people's minds when they have dementia, and their lack of ability to function and do daily tasks it's astounding. Absolutely never would have believed it. Even reading the books that I read, I wouldn't have believed it. But back on task. So if you have somebody now that has their money in a living trust and they lose capacity, that living trust successor trustee now will have the legal authority and the legal ability to manage the money and pay for the bills and, and make sure that they are taken care of. Disability, unlike death, disability causes hyperconsumption. It literally makes it so you need to spend even more money because you've got medical and nursing and transportation and foods and special diets and medications. It really causes hyperconsumption. So if you don't have like your own disability plan, or you don't have a disability insurance or something like that, you're going to be footing that bill with your estate plan. So what we want to make sure is that in the event that you became incapacitated, that it can be managed by somebody that you trust. And that's why you set up a living trust with a trustee and a successor to them and a successor to them and a successor. So you've got, like 3 people in a row, if case one can't do it. You want to make sure there are people lined up to be able to take care of your money in the event of your incapacity. I mean, a 70% chance, you guys, if it were Las Vegas and there's a 70% chance of something, it might as well be 100%. That's just huge. Those are huge odds. 7 out of 10 of us will become incapacitated before we die. And I think probably 90% of those will not be prepared. Not prepared. They won't have their trust together. They won't have the power of attorneys that they need. They won't have anything. What happens? Can the family manage? The answer is yes. But what happens is the family also struggles and suffers. What we've been hired to do in many occasions is husband and wife, accounts in husband's name, big fat retirement account. They need it now to take care of husband who has dementia. He can't sign anything. If he goes to the bank, they're going to go, whoa, you have no idea who you are or where you are or who's on the throne right now. They would not even know. So that being the case, they're incapacitated, incompetent, and they can't authorize withdrawals. They can't set anything up. So to get that money, now that it's needed by the incapacitated person and their spouse, you have to get a conservatorship. So the spouse, the surviving mentally well spouse, has to go and get a conservatorship in the probate court. And 6 to 9 months later, they will get an order saying that they can now serve as the conservator. They take a long time. They're expensive. They're slow. It's kind of a torturous process. How do you prevent that? Number one is make sure that your financial accounts, not your IRAs and 401ks like we talked about in the last segment, but all of your financial accounts, your brokerage account, your savings account, if you've got checking with a bunch of money in it, those should be named in your trust. If they are not, then they should be under the control of a financial power of attorney. So if you did a limited durable financial power of attorney, you could have a power of attorney that says, in the event of my incapacity, I want my wife to have the power to transfer any of our deposit accounts or investment accounts or financial accounts. She will have the ability to transfer them to the living trust. Okay, because what you're doing now is you're taking care of things post incapacity, after the incapacity, that you probably should have taken care of before. We all know that you should take care of them before, but now it's, incapacitated person, you need a power of attorney, because if it is not in the trust, you, the survivor, the non-incapacitated spouse, do not have any control over money that is in your spouse's name only. You'll have to get a conservatorship. Expensive, slow, painful. However, if things were done properly and you had a proper power of attorney, or the documents, said that it was held in the trust or managed or controlled by the trust, totally different story. And that may seem crazy, but understand that the way the law is set up is the law is designed not to make it hard, but to make it so that the likelihood of things being done properly, legitimately, and not by, hook or by crook, it makes it difficult for honest people to move forward. And there's a lot of checks and balances because there's a lot of dishonest people out there. And we just have to deal with that. It's the world we live in. That doesn't mean the sky is falling, doesn't mean it's a horrible place. And oh my gosh, I'm going to move to another continent. feel free, but it's not going to really do any good. So that's my opinion as always. And like I said, when I'm on the air, what I say is just what I feel like I should say. And that's good. If you want help from me, remember my number, 855-500-TRUST. Okay, the beneficiary designation. When you are setting up a retirement, estate plan, right? That's what we're talking about now. And you're going to go through and figure out, are my assets in the trust? You're going to want to make sure to check to see if they are. The easiest way is look at your bank statement. If your bank statement says family trust on it or references you as the trustee, that account is in the trust. Got to be careful with consolidated statements. For example, credit unions are notorious for this. You have one account number, 19777, whatever. You have one account number and you've got 4 different sub accounts. You have a credit card, you got savings, you got travel savings, you got a checking account, you got business checking, whatever. They'll come on one statement. So don't be fooled by looking at the first page and saying, it's in the trust. Every one of those accounts, except for the business one, should be in that trust. So in the event of your incapacity, we can handle that money for you, right? So that's going to be a big thing, in my opinion. Okay. The next thing that we want to really make sure that we cover is that the beneficiary designation is set up right, and you know the way it's set up, and you know that your accounts are in the trust. The beneficiary designation is not as easy as looking on a statement to see whether it says beneficiary. It doesn't. You're going to have to go deeper into that. Either log into your account or talk to your advisor or look at your paperwork. And it will talk about ownership. Is it owned by you personally? Or is it owned by your trustee? Okay, now it may say owned by the trust. That's really kind of that's just more not necessarily slang, but it's a shortcut because it's not technically owned by your trust. Technically, it's owned by you as trustee of your trust. That way, when you die or become incapacitated, your successor trustee just steps in because now they are the trustee. Okay, the successor trustee becomes the person in charge. Okay, so we want to make sure the beneficiary designations are right. What I recommended, and I mentioned this because I had a client who was an engineer, very particular, and this was his suggestion. You create a list.
2 minutes.
And whether it's on, whether it's electronic or not, it doesn't really matter. But in your trust binder, that has your original trust and copies and all those different things, and your will and your power of attorneys, all that stuff. In that binder, I would suggest you make a page that inventories all of your stuff. And so you list in there, bank account, Mission Federal. Here's the last 4 of the account number. Who does it go to when I die? Okay. Is it in the name of the trust? So you're going to have a column. This is the way my client did it. This is a column where it was checked like in the trust. He named how it was titled in the trust. All of his assets, house, cars, financial accounts, investment accounts, everything. And then he had a column saying, how's the beneficiary designation set up? He caught so many errors because when accounts changed hands or when they got rolled over or he bought a new CD or he put more money in investments, he was finding out that he had combined statements and there'll be 3 different sections on there for different types of investments. And only one of those sections was in the trust. The other 2 were not. So that's what's really important, is to schedule everything out so you know where everything is. And it helps you keep track of it. So like we were talking about with Anthony earlier, don't be your own money manager like your investment manager. Be your money manager and figure out where your stuff is. Is it properly in the trust? Are the beneficiary designations set up right? Is your trust set up the way you want it to? That's what you manage, and let the money be handled by somebody like Anthony. His number's 931 retired. Let me do your estate planning. Happy to set it up for you. Free initial consultation. I'll review your own trust for free as long as it's like 4 or 5 years old. 855-500-TRUST. We'll be back tomorrow. We have got a great show put together for you. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have our friends come back and we will talk about being happy and finding joy. And we're going to do that with Barry Shore tomorrow here on The Word on Wealth.
Tell a friend about The Word on Wealth, featured since 1995. with financial solutions attorney Gary Quackenbush, an expert in estate planning, wills and trusts, and tax problem solving. Gary is past president of the California Society of Tax Consultants. Reach out to us. The Word on Wealth team of financial experts is here to answer your questions and help preserve your family's financial future.
The information you hear on the Word on Wealth is for general information purposes only. This program discusses general financial and legal topics. Seek legal advice from a competent lawyer for your individual legal needs.